Lesson 2.1, Web Search and Information Gathering.
Today's goal, master web search tools and build a market research agent.
Welcome to Module 2. I'm Yannick and I'm here with Sarah. We're moving from agent foundations to mastering core tools.
Today's focus, web search, the tool that gives your agents access to real-time information from across the internet.
By the end of this lesson, you'll build agents that can research any topic, gather current data, and provide insights that are impossible with static information. Web search transforms your agents from simple processors into intelligent researchers.
Think about it. Your agents can now access current news, live pricing, company updates, market trends, anything that's publicly available online.
This isn't just about finding information. It's a strategic intelligence gathering for our business and personal decision making.
The key insight, web search turns any agent into a real-time analyst that never sleeps.
But here's what separates amateur from professional web search: query strategy.
Effective queries are specific, targeted, and designed to get you actionable results, not just random information.
Notice the difference. AI Startup Funding 2024 will give you very specific data. Stuff About Business will just give you some vague data that won't fit the need of your question.
Professional agents use strategic queries that align with their processing goals and user needs.
Today we're building a market research agent that demonstrates professional level information gathering.
This agent will show you how to construct intelligent search strategies, process multiple data sources, and deliver business-grade insights.
You'll learn how to turn raw web data into competitive intelligence and actionable recommendations.
Ready to give your agents internet superpowers? Let's get started.
Alright, let's create an agent. We're going to name this Market Research Gatherer. And the description will say is a tool for targeted business intelligence gathering.
Let's head on over to actions.
First, we're going to need an input. So the company or industry that they want to research. So we'll go here and we'll click Get User Input.
We want to make sure it's input type text, and we'll set the prompt as what company or industry would you like to research?
We can put some companies here as examples like Google, Amazon, etc. And we're not going to put a default value. Default values can be good for testing if you don't want to keep putting in different values each time you do it, and you just want to have a value already set there, but we're not going to have that for this one. And we will name this out_research target.
Now we're going to go ahead and hit add action and add a second input with type text, and we're going to have the prompt as what specific aspect would you like to focus on? And again, we can put some examples, so like recent news, competitor analysis, market trends, etc.
I don't think we need a default value, and we will name this out_research focus. Now we're going to need a third input, our time period for current relevance. So click add action, we'll say get user input.
And for the prompt, we'll just have what time period are you interested in?
Some examples could be last 30 days or last quarter. We're not going to put a default value, and we're going to name this out_time_period.
Now we're going to add our first web search step. So you're going to go add action, get data, and scroll down until you see search results. From here, we have to create our query.
So our search query will be so we're going to insert our variables. So our search query will be our research target, our research focus, and our time period. And then we're just going to put analysis report at the end.
And make sure to put spaces between your variables.
Here you can select how many posts you want it to retrieve. We're just going to keep it at 1 for now. You can change this if you want it to go through more, but it takes more time to load and everything. So for now, for the ease, we're going to keep it at 1. Now we're going to name this out_primary search results.
Next we have a very critical step. So what this is going to do is it's going to return a long list of links and little blurbs about different sources that you'll find online. So now we have to take specifically one link from that using an LLM. So we're going to go add action, use AI, use Gen AI, and we're going to give it a prompt that will return one link and only a link. So in this case, we're going to say, analyze these search results and return only the single best URL that provides the most comprehensive information about our research target. Return only the URL and nothing else.
Now we're going to name this out_primary best link.
Next we're going to do what's called a web scrape, which takes a link as an input and scrapes all of the information and text off that page. So we're going to go add action, get data, scroll down, do web page content, and for now we're going to have the crawler mode as a scrape, and we're going to have our URL as the variable we just got from our last LLM call.
We're going to name this out_primary scraped content. Next, AI-powered content refinement and summarization will be for our next LLM step.
So basically what this does is it takes all that information that we got from the scrape and it condenses it into something more readable.
The prompt will be analyze and summarize the following scraped content, focus on key insights about our research target related to our research focus, extract the most important information, and present it clearly. This will transform the raw scraped content into focused intelligence for our final analysis. We're going to store this as out_primary refined insights.
Now we're going to repeat the process and add another web search, but this time focus on broader market intelligence. So we're going to go add action, get data, get search results, and we're going to have our query as our research target, industry, market context, competitors during our time period.
We're going to name this out market search results.
Now we're going to add the step that takes these search results and extracts only a link from it. So we're going to add an LLM step.
And now the prompt will be analyze, and then our variable, and then return the single most valuable URL for market context. We are going to name this out market best link.
And before we save this, it's important to add to the LLM prompt to only return the URL, otherwise it might return something like, sure, here's the best URL, and it won't work for our web search.
Now we're going to save this.
Next we're going to add a second scrape step.
Go back to get data, scroll down, go to web page content. Now we will put our link in here, out market best link, and we're going to name this out market scraped content.
Now again, we have to refine this and summarize it so that the LLM can read it in our final synthesis step. So we're going to go add action, use AI, use Gen AI, and do our same prompt as before to focus on market trends, competitive landscape, and strategic context for our target using the variable we just got.
Then I put in the variable. So this is our original target. And then we're going to say using the in, and then we're going to put our variable of the scrape, which will be out market scrape content. Then we're going to name this out market refined insights. And we're going to click save.
Now we're going to add a step which will synthesize these and mush it all together in one comprehensive output. So we're going to go add action, use AI, use Gen AI.
So now for this, we're going to go to ChatGPT for that to create our prompt. So here we have, can you generate a prompt that will synthesize a summary market intelligence, which is this variable, and company insights, which is this variable, into one professional business report about one company or industry, which is, and then we say what our company or industry is. Make sure to include the variables at the end of the prompt to provide clarity for the LLM. Use best prompt engineering practices. Now we'll submit. It's important to make sure it has the variables only at the end, unless you want to after go and do that yourself. But it's easier to have the ChatGPT or whatever do it for you. Now we'll paste this in here. And now we'll name this out underscore comprehensive report. Save.
And now our final step is just to show our output. So create output, show user output, and just insert the variable from our last call.
And then keep these the same. This heading here is just what will be above all your information. Unless you're wanting to format it in a specific way, you can leave that as just output. Same with auto. Unless you're going to try formatting it, then auto is good for the information. We'll click save. Alright, now we click publish changes. We always click run.
And let's test this with Amazon. And we can say competitive analysis. And have our time as 2024.
Click go. This could take a bit longer than some of the other agents we've made because it has to do a lot more. There's a lot more steps. So you can see that it received the search results, provided the link. The LLM will give just the link without the blurb. Now it'll grab all the text from that link, which is a lot, actually. Invoke LLM. And I mean, this debugger is definitely very helpful to debug, because if you do run into an error, you can usually use this to help you find it. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when I said the heading, little output thing. But okay, now we have our result, and as you see, it's relatively in depth, has good titles, gives you a lot of information. And if you want, you can go and see what sources it found in here. this is the actual source, or you could get the link and go check the link out to see if it's accurate, which is always something you should do, because if you did make a mistake and you didn't notice, the AI could hallucinate some information, and hallucination is just where you either provide it like an incorrect prompt or something that's too vague that it doesn't know the answer to, and it always will try to provide you an answer. But if you want to like make sure that's not happening, always check out the links, make sure they're real, and make sure the information makes sense, and then you can compare it and all. But this will have all this compiled together for you, which makes it a lot easier. I just want to head back to the workflow real quick and just check out how many variables we have. And this is something that we mentioned earlier, is that it's very important to pick very good names for your variables and make sure that they're not too vague and that you can point each variable to what the data is behind it. So it can definitely get confusing if you don't do that, because you might mistake one variable for another, and then that could cause your entire agent not to work, and that could be a long time of debugging. So it's definitely very important to have good names.
And I think you can really see here with our output the power of having an agent, because we just created something that now, instead of researching for hours and writing this all nice and pretty, you can just input a company, what you're looking for, and it'll maybe take a few minutes and you'll just have all that information at your disposal. So incredible for time saving.
You may be able to see in our workflow that it looks a little repetitive because we did the search result, the LLM, the web scrape, and then we repeated it again here. In future lessons, we'll show you how to use if-else statements and for loops, so conditional statements, and that'll help you with things that are repetitive and possibly make them a little bit more simple. But for now, this is also just a strong way to do it.
Let's summarize the intelligent search and processing concepts we learned today.
What we learned today: intelligent web search, strategic search with AI link selection, targeted scraping and content refinement, efficient information processing workflows.
What we're going to learn next is lesson 2.2, which is LLM invocation and advanced AI processing. And until then, you can apply what you learned today and answer the mini quiz in the Google Classroom.
You're building the foundation for professional level business intelligence.
Excellent work mastering web search. See you in the next lesson.